Kia ora whānau, and welcome to the third episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your host, Alex Costas, and I am going to be continuing on, not so much about the CV this time, but about the cover letter that we're going to be doing. Now, this podcast is going to be in line with the blog post that I've already posted and talked about, the cover letter template. You can find this at my website. I would strongly suggest you head over there. I have a free cover letter that is available template for you to download. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain just a little bit about why I'm doing this, why I'm giving these things out for free. The main reason is, most times if you went to a recruitment company, especially in New Zealand, which is where I'm from, or New Zealand for some people, you would usually pay up to $200 just for a cover letter, or $200 just for a CV. Now, I used to work for the New Zealand government, specifically for a department called Work and Income. Now, Work and Income is our beneficiary system, and I wish someone had helped me back then, given me these tools, these tricks of the trade in order to get a job. I was a previous customer of Work and Income as well for 2 years before I ended up getting a job with them. And I just found that every time they were doing a CV or a cover letter, the recruitment agencies that were actually getting paid by Work and Income to provide these cover letters and CVs, they were very, I'm going to be real, they were very basic. And quite honestly, I was surprised people would get jobs with those. So I want to give back and just help people a little bit more, and that is why I'm doing this. Now, with this cover letter that I'm giving you, I usually charge about $50 New Zealand for this. I'm giving it to you for free. The reason why, as I said, I want people to go out there and get a job, and given this time that we're in at the moment with COVID-19 and, well, COVID-20 now, given it's May, a lot of people have lost their jobs, and I want to make sure that if you are applying for a job, if I can give you just a little bit of help, even just one little nugget that helps you get that job, I've done my job. I've helped you grow. I've helped you get a job which you need. So what I'm going to do is I suggest you head over to my website, download the cover letter template. Feel free to read the blog post as well. When I do have my cover letter that's up, you'll notice that there are some symbols, which are the brackets symbols. Those are the details where you fill in your details. Okay. Now, as I said, this is just a template. Feel free to make it however you are. You may be thinking, I don't need a cover letter. They aren't that important. Well, as I've said previously, that's where you're wrong. Now, in this day and age, your cover letter can actually get you the interview. Okay. Your cover letter will be seen before your direct employer will even look at your CV. So when you come to the section regarding skills, so in the cover letter itself, and I've got it quite well set out of exactly how you should be using this cover letter, there is a skills section where you mention the skills that are in the job description. Now, if you go back to one of my previous podcasts, the very first one, before you apply for a job, I talk about identifying skills within that little part. Go into that identifying skills and make sure that your cover letter and your CV are matched together so that they're able to actually complement themselves when you're applying for the job. Now, what I mean by that is you effectively want to make this CV and this cover letter, and this is not your master CV. This is your actual CV that you're going to send out to the employer that you want to apply the job for. Your CV and your cover letter, those particular ones, should be matching. So what's in the job description, you want to match that as well as you can in your actual cover letter as well. Now, if you can, try to keep your cover letter to one page. And you'll also notice under the skills, keep that to sort of 3 to 5 skills maximum, depending on how many skills the employer is actually requesting. So the cover letter template. Now, on my blog, I've got not only a downloadable version, but also a copy-paste version, which you're more than welcome to use. I'm just going to break it down very, very simply for you. So, as I said, head to my website. The very first thing you've got is your name at the very top. Then you've got the address. Now, depending on how you're sending this, you may not put the full address. You may put only part of the address. Some people do add an address, some people don't. It all depends on how long your cover letter is. Now, if your cover letter is very, very long because you're trying your best to get everything out onto the page of how great you are, then you may want to remove your address. But you definitely want to put at least your mobile and your email. Okay, so they're your contact details. After that, you hit a couple of sentences, hit a couple of enters, you put the date. Okay, so today's date that you're actually applying for the job. After that, you put the name of the recruiter, if you know them, or you put to the manager or to the recruiting manager or something along those lines. Now, if you know the name of the team or of the department that it is that manager works for, you put that as well, because you're putting their name and their title effectively. If you do know their address, you can put their address as well. However, only use this if you are adding your own address at the top. Okay. You don't have to put those. You don't have to put both addresses. You can only put your address if you need to. Again, it depends on how much space you actually need to keep your cover letter roughly to one page. The next line after that, after you've hit enter a couple of times, will be RE or regarding is effectively what you're saying. Half colon, and then your name. And then expression of interest and application for the job opportunity. And you add either the job opportunity number next to that, / or the title of the job. Okay, hit enter a couple more times, and then you're going to get to the actual meat. And this is where the actual letter officially starts. Okay, you go to the recruiting employer. If you know the name, you can put this to Mr. or Mrs. And their last name, not hey Jim. It's always, hey, Mr. Belushi, or dear Mr. Belushi, or to Mr. Belushi. And then you hit enter, and then you'd go, my name is, you put your first name, and then you go, I wish to show my expression of interest for the above position within your organization, as I believe I have the skills needed to successfully fill this position. So what you're basically doing in this sentence is you're saying, hey, I believe I'm going to be a great fit for your team, and I've got skills. I'm now going to outline those. And then in your next section, you would say, I believe I would be an excellent asset to your team or to your organization due to my ability to, or something similar to that. And this next part will be the next sort of 2 to 3 paragraphs. This is where your skills are, okay? So when you're adding your skills, you want to make sure that they are what they are looking for. So if they're looking for someone with good organizational skills, 1 to 2 sentences about your organizational skills, 1 to 2 sentences about your customer relationship skills. Whatever it is that they're looking for, that's what you want to highlight of what it is that you do versus what they do. So each paragraph should cover off the skills listed in that job description with a brief 1 to 2 sentences. How you achieved that skill. How did you show that skill? Because that's effectively what they're wanting to know. After you've done that for the sort of 2 to 3 skills or 4 skills that they've got in the cover letter, in the job description, you then say, you go enter one more time, you go, based on the experiences and skills listed above, I feel I would be an excellent asset to your team. Hit enter. Next one you go is, thank you for taking the time to consider me for this application or this amazing opportunity or something along those lines. I look forward to discussing this with you further. Hit enter. Remember, kind regards / yours faithfully. Most people usually put yours sincerely. You don't actually need to put yours sincerely because you don't sincerely know the person. So that's when you would usually use yours sincerely. However, kind regards or yours faithfully is the one you do after that. Now, the next part is important. If you are sending this via email, hit enter once, maybe twice, and you put your full name. Okay? If you are sending this via snail mail or via a letter, you would hit enter about 4 or 5 times, sign the document, and then underneath your signature should be your name. Okay, that's all you need. You don't need to make it too in-depth. The main thing is, when you are discussing your skills, make sure that you are clear and concise. If you can use some examples of how you achieved the skill, or one or two examples of how you achieved the skill, it's really, really helpful. But you don't have to go to a full, long 15-page paragraph about how great you are at organizational skills. It just needs to be, I am very well organized, I have achieved this through my role as such and such. That's it. You don't need to go too in depth, okay? Because that's, if you can get past the cover letter, if you can get to the next section, that is when that next part will be. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a listen to this. It has been a very quick one. Don't worry, I will put another one up today as well, another podcast. This time we're going to talk about, the next time we're going to talk about star examples. Okay, so we'll get into that a bit more detailed instructions. And those are things that you can get ready for when you're doing actual job interviews. So that'll be the next part of the podcast. If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My emails are in the job description. Go to my blog. You can find all my contact details there. And thank you very much. I hope you have a good day and good luck.